Hello, it's Adele, and in this Facebook Live, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite topics. It's all about mindset and what might be holding you back from success. I did a whole presentation on this last week with my transformer clients where I talked about the characteristics of successful people and what they had in common. And can you guess what some of those were? Okay, I'm going to tell you, and actually I'm going to show you in a little presentation today. And that presentation is just a little portion of what I shared with my clients this week, or rather last week. So you can have a sneak peek at the kinds of things that we talk about in our coaching calls. But before I get into details, let me introduce myself. I am Adele Frizzell, founder of Adele Frizzell LLC, head coach of the Transformer program, my signature program. I also co-coach with Calvin in the New You program. I specialize in helping women over 40 get leaner and stronger and learn how to keep the weight off without going to extremes. Okay, let's get started. I will just share my screen and then we can have a little chat about these slides. So just 1 second here. Okay, so the characteristics of successful people. This is going to take less than 10 minutes to go through, but welcome. Okay, what is one characteristic that successful people have in common? Well, it's patience. Successful people are patient people. They're also very self-reliant. They have a very strong internal locus of control. What does that mean? Does anybody know? Okay, it's the degree to which people believe that they, as opposed to external forces, are responsible for the outcomes they get, that they're in control over the outcomes or events in their lives, that things don't just happen to them, they make things happen. When I took a degree in kinesiology, in sports psychology, we talked about locus of control being really important for cultivating a champion mindset in athletes, that they needed to be able to do things because they felt it was within their power, not because they gave their coach that power or blamed it on something else, right? All right, so let me show you in a graphic what I mean by this locus of control concept, okay? So internal locus of control, somebody with a strong internal locus of control will say things like, I make things happen, look what I can do, I can determine my future, I'm the captain of my fate. A person with a weak internal locus of control, or actually has an external locus of control, will say things like, there's nothing I can do about my future. Why bother? You know, why has everything happened to me? They believe that things happen to them. Success Magazine says that successful people are ambitious, they're courageous, they're committed, they're prepared, they're continuous learners, and they're responsible. So continuous learners really embrace that growth mindset that goes with this internal locus of control. Just because you might not be able to do something right now doesn't mean you can't do something in the future. So let's continue on. What is a third quality of successful people or characteristics? Basically, these people are persistent. They have the ability to continue on the road even when there are. Maybe you can think of an obstacle in your own life, something that happened that was a challenge and you decided to give up. Or maybe it just changed how you thought or felt about something. What are some obstacles that people commonly experience on a weight loss journey that might require patience, self-reliance, and persistence? I can think of one. One of them is the scale. A lot of people will become very demoralized if the scale doesn't continue to go down, down, down. And I can understand that. They're putting in a lot of effort. They feel like they're restricting themselves. They're saying no to things. They're being very mindful. And then they wake up and maybe the scale is plateaued or maybe it's gone up. And this can really bother them and make them feel bad about themselves. And then they can just decide to stop dieting. Well, a successful mindset means that they'll see that as an obstacle, but they'll continue on regardless. And I just want to share with you what typical weight loss looks like in this next image. It looks something like this. You had somebody who started at 192 pounds, and they ended up 9 months later at 168.1 pounds. They lost almost 24 pounds, or 12% of their body weight. You can see that the scale went up and down, right? Rarely is weight loss linear. Your weight will go up and down when you lose weight. You just have to be patient and persistent. So successful people are patient, they're self-reliant, they are persistent, but they also define goals clearly and they actively pursue them. And what I mean by this, let me give you an example. Let's say you have a goal to lose 30 pounds. That is a great goal. But it's more important to focus on the actions you're going to take to help you arrive at that goal. Because a lot of people will come to me and they want to lose weight loss by such and such a date. And I tell them, look, you can't control the rate at which you'll lose weight, how fast you'll lose weight, or what date all that weight is going to come off. All you can do is take the actions that will help you get the best possible outcome. So instead of having goals that are outcome-based, have goals that are action-based. And this is something we work on together. What are the habits you're doing on a daily basis that will help you get the outcome that you desire? As another example, I would really love to bench press 200 pounds. I'd love to, but I have to train for a long time. I have to put the time in the gym. I have to surrender to the fact that I may never get to 200 pounds, but man, I am going to try. I'm going to do my very best to get there. My goal is 200 pounds. I'm just going to focus on all the actions that will help me get to that goal. All right. So on that topic, one of the reasons I believe people regain weight is because they have a strong goal during the weight loss phase. But then when they get to that goal, when they reach it, let's say they lost 30 pounds, they relax, it's game over. They don't have another strong goal to keep the weight off. I think it's really important to always have goals, to always be pursuing them. All right, so I gave this presentation to my clients last week, but then I, of course, gave it some more thought. And a situation came up that made me consider what are some other reasons why some people are successful and some people aren't. And I think that, in my own life, I think a big reason that I have been successful, at least in my business, is because I had a coach. You see, let me back up. What brought on this realization is that my husband and I are applying for a mortgage, and the loan officer said that they needed my income to help us qualify. And that was a really eye-opening moment for me, because 5 years ago, I had to ask my husband for money to buy things. I just moved to the United States from Canada. I didn't have a job. I didn't have any credit history. In fact, I couldn't even work for 2 years because I was waiting for my visa. So I was totally dependent upon him. And if I wanted to get my hair cut, I had to ask him for money. And, he's a very generous man, but it just sucked because I'm an independent woman. It was hard on me. When we met in Canada, I had a career in technology. I was a manager. I had also had a side business, which I had sold. I had had a home that I had just sold that I had bought with my own money. Now I was in this new country trying to reinvent myself. I couldn't get a credit card. I couldn't get a loan. It was a very stressful time for me. And so basically that was 5 years ago. And then this week, we heard from the loan officer that we needed my income to help us qualify for a mortgage. And I felt like, wow, that is different. I've made it. I started my own business, and now I am making enough that I own my own car. I can happily pay for repairs. My credit score is the highest that there is. I pay for us to go on nice vacations. I have money in savings, and now we're buying our first house together. I mean, this was like a big, big moment for me. And it was possible because I had hired a business coach when I started my business. She had helped me lay this solid foundation for my business. And when I was ready to level up, I hired a different coach and I read books and I kept doing that. And so I'm always going to have a business coach because I have seen such a huge and immediate return on investment. I mean, I'd had businesses in the past in Canada, but I'd never had a coach and I had never really been that successful at my businesses. They never really took off. And I believe it's because I never had that guidance. Without a guide, you can spend a lot of time flailing around and not making progress. So how does this relate to your health and fitness goals? Well, you can pour a lot of time and money and effort and energy into dieting, into losing weight and trying to keep it off. You can try different diets. There's always a new one in the tabloids. You can try keto and Nutrisystem, snake diet, shake diets, cabbage soup, what have you. I mean, I've tried them. But without a solid foundation, without an understanding of nutrition and training and principles, and a coach to help give you a blueprint, chances are you're going to continue to struggle and you're going to continue to fall for really bad advice. So I will always work with a coach. And why is that? Because a coach gives me the tactics and the strategies that I need to get me from A to Z. Or in Canada, Z. Okay, so maybe, you can relate. Just in terms of like guides, we always, as a species, have needed guides to show us the way. And we've seen this in literature and we see this in movies. Luke Skywalker had Yoda. He was small in size and stature, but he was wise. He was powerful. He had trained Jedi for over 800 years to use the Force and unlock their potential. Katniss Everdeen, if you read The Hunger Games, she had Haymitch, that liquor-loving, scruffy guy who had won the previous Hunger Games tournament. He helped her to win. Harry Potter, he had the wise and mysterious Dumbledore. We all need a guide or a mentor to help us, to guide us to our goals. And if you're struggling, it might be because you never had a coach. Or maybe you had a coach, but it wasn't the right coach for you. Or the plan that they gave you wasn't right for you. You need to persist. You need to be patient and look for that guide. So they say when the student is ready, the teacher will come. And we're here and we're ready to help you. So if you'd like to get leaner, you'd like to get stronger, you want to learn more about nutrition and weight training, if you want to learn how to lose weight and keep it off, we can help. I'm going to link to our courses and programs in the comment section. I hope you'll have a look at them. Thank you so much for your time today, and I hope you have an awesome weekend. Take care.